Hello and welcome to the Underpaid Gamers Podcast. My name is Tony. We are the official podcast of underpaidgamers.com. My friend and colleague Justin is on an extracurricular activity to Europe right now, so I'm going to be doing this by myself today. Instead of the regular podcast where we have topics and things, this will just be a newscast, so I'm going to call it a newscast from here on out. But I wanted to get this out before E3, and a whole bunch of news came out for that. So let's get right into it. I have some news from the past couple weeks. And then again, next week, I'll probably dive into some E3 stuff. So let's get right to it. If you know this podcast, then you know that I have to mention how awesome that theme song was. So again, welcome to our Underpaid Gamers Podcast. If you want to hear more of us or you want to see videos or whatever, you can check us out on YouTube, Underpaid Gamers Podcast, or actually just Underpaid Gamers. If you want to hear us on every sort of different website, you can go to iTunes, you can go to SoundCloud, we can go to Stitcher. We have our episodes on our blog, which is underpaidgamers.com. We also have blog posts, obviously, so you can check that out. But let's get right into the news. Blizzard and Overwatch are banning players as promised, and they are harsh bans. It's a first offense, so if you get caught cheating once, I saw this story of a guy that got caught cheating once, and then he didn't get banned immediately. He kept playing for a couple days, and he got banned. He's like, man, that sucks. I got caught cheating. And then he bought another copy of the game, and he thought, well, maybe if they ban that one game, they won't ban this one. And then he got banned on the second one because of his offense on the first game, and then reinstalled it, got banned again, and then almost like rebuilt his whole machine because he was using a computer, and got banned again. So I don't know how they know all this information to ban you, but they are destroying people that are cheating. So good for them. That sounds really harsh, but at the same time, like, hey, don't cheat. It's not that hard. And the only question I have is, like, what happens if you accidentally cheat? And what I mean by that is, what happens if something happens and you don't mean for it to happen, like your computer glitches or your game glitches, and the servers register that as cheating? You can no longer play that game because, like, this guy bought the game 2 or 3 different times, and every single time he bought it, a new copy, he still couldn't play it. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't have access to Overwatch, so I don't know how easy or not easy it is to cheat on PC or on PS4 or on Xbox 360 or Xbox One, but I guess we'll see what happens. Along with that, following Blizzard's lead, Ubisoft swears to permanently ban cheaters for the Division again on the first offense. So from what I understand, in the Dark Zone, there is an incredible amount of cheating by people, so they are striking them down hard. Again, first offense bans. Division's been out for a few months. So I think they kind of just waited to see if Blizzard and Overwatch, like, to see the fan reaction to cheating. Most people support it. So Ubisoft's like, yeah, dude, we'll ban cheaters too. So that's happening. Anthony Hopkins is slated to appear in Transformers 5. I have him listed here that he is going to be the Hannibal Lecter of the robot universe, which is Unicron. If you know anything about Anthony Hopkins, he was Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal in that trilogy. So there you go. Unicron eats planets, and he's a giant robot, and I don't know how Michael Bay will do that, but I'm sure he'll find a way to blow something up. Spider-Man 4, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4. Jeffrey Henderson came out with his storyboards, which are just the pictures that he drew of what would happen in the movie, and it looks like, although Sam Raimi normally doesn't like to show storyboards, these Jeffrey Henderson decided that these would be some that Sam Raimi would not dislike him sharing. And he says that Spider-Man 4 is the one that he gets asked about the most of all the movies he's worked on. He's worked on a lot of superhero movies. He says that following Spider-Man 3, the people that worked on it, Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, I assume, just him, Jeffrey Henderson, they didn't like how Spider-Man 3 turned out. They said it was kind of lower than what they expected. So they really wanted the fourth Spider-Man to really, like, pop and really be awesome. And it said it would have been awesome. That's what he says here. And he says they're working on some craziest cool stuff because everyone from top to bottom felt that Spider-Man 3 was a bit of a missed opportunity. And we really wanted to help, and he says, he quotes, we really wanted to help Sam Raimi make Spider-Man 4 another level, or to take another level he could get the series, so he could end the series on a high note. In these storyboards, they look really cool. It looks like the villains would have been Mysterio, which is my favorite Spider-Man villain, and Vulture. And there was a fan theory propagated around the internet that Bruce Campbell was actually slated to be Mysterio and Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi have a huge history of doing movies together. Bruce Campbell was in every single Spider-Man movie that Sam Raimi did. He was in Spider-Man 1, he was the wrestling announcer that gave Spider-Man his name instead of the human spider. He gave him Spider-Man. In Spider-Man 2, he was the annoying concierge, I guess, at the theater hall. Peter gets there late. He wants to see Mary Jane in her play, and the guy's like, I can't let you in because they started already. And then in Spider-Man 3, he's the waiter or like the host at the French restaurant or whatever restaurant where Peter Parker proposes to Mary Jane. So the thought is that as Mysterio, he's someone that likes to keep an eye on things and like kind of likes to work his plan. So he's been watching Peter Parker for these 3 years or however long, kind of in the shadows, and now in Spider-Man 4, what would have been Spider-Man 4, Mysterio would have like came out and been like, I've been watching you for so long, and Peter Parker would be like, no, you know all my secrets, as Peter Parker does. And then Vulture, and I think Vulture is kind of lame just in general, but these storyboards look sick. Like Spider-Man's throwing this gargoyle, and Vulture's just like swiping it in half with his razor sharp wings. There's some pictures of Mysterio, things like that. So I, as a big fan of Spider-Man, would have loved to see this. I'm excited for Spider-Man Homecoming, which Vulture is supposed to be in, is what they're saying. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. We'll get there. In other Spider-Man news, there was a rumor before the Spider-Man 4 storyboards came out. There was a rumor a long time ago of a Spider-Man video game coming to the next-gen console, so the PS4 and the Xbox One and then PC. And there's a rumor that Sucker Punch, the game developer, is going to make this Spider-Man, and that would be awesome. This rumor started when there was an image on Amazon of an Infamous collection, so Infamous 1 and 2 remastered, and if you bought that, you got a demo to the Sucker Punch Spider-Man game, and it was found out that game was fake, unfortunately, because Sucker Punch makes incredible third-person games, just like open world games. So if you've played Infamous 1, 2, or Infamous Second Son, or even Infamous First Light, that's all made by Sucker Punch, so you kind of know that. Sucker Punch also makes Sly Cooper. So Sly Cooper 1 was third person. It's kind of like an on-rails thing, so it's not open world. But Sly Cooper 2 and 3 and 4, all great games, are all third-person open world. So it's all just very interesting. And it's just like, I wanted to talk about this before E3, because if this is announced at E3 that Sucker Punch is making a Spider-Man game, I'm going to lose it. Because Spider-Man, like I said, is my favorite. Spider-Man 2 for the PS2 was the best Spider-Man game that was ever created, followed closely by Ultimate Spider-Man, I believe is what it was called. It was more of a cartoony version. But it was very interesting. And like Spider-Man 2 just had the best web swinging mechanics. And I've talked about this before on the podcast, but so in some Spider-Man games, they get a lot of flack that you can just like web swing off of anything. Like if you're in the middle of New York, you can like swing to the highest building and like swing around it because your webs don't need to be connected to anything. But in Spider-Man 2, you didn't have to aim where your webs would go. They would automatically go. But if there wasn't a building for you to connect them to, you would not be able to web swing. And then and also the web swinging was momentum based. So if you jumped off the Chrysler building, which I did a lot, and then like web swung as close to the ground as possible, you would then like, I want to say whiplash, but I don't think that's a word, but you would like swing and use all that momentum, and then you just like, if you let go at the peak of the apex, you would like you'd fly like 2 or 3 blocks. It was so cool because you get all that speed boost. And if Sucker Punch, who made Infamous, which is an incredible superhero third-person game, made Spider-Man for the next generation, that would be incredible. Some people are saying that if they made this, they wouldn't want it to be just for the PS4, but I don't think Sucker Punch has made games for any other systems other than PlayStation. Like Sly Cooper, I believe, is all on PS2 and PS3. Infamous is only on PS3 and PS4. So if Sucker Punch were to make a Spider-Man game, I would say it would only be PS4 exclusive, which in general like isn't even a big deal because PS4 has sold like 2 times as more systems as Xbox One. So yeah, some people that have Xbox One might be a little upset, but I mean, you had your chance to buy a PS4, so I don't know. Watch Dogs 2 is confirmed by Ubisoft. There's going to be 6 different versions of this game, which is ridiculous. There's a standard version, which is $59.99. There is a deluxe edition, which is $10 more, $69.99, and I guess it's a base game plus 2 deluxe packs with a new in-game premium customization items for your character, weapons, and vehicles and drones. And then there's a gold edition, which is $99.99. It's $100 for a game. So you get the deluxe edition plus a season pass for future DLC and missions and gear. So I guess you're paying $30 for DLC. That is not been confirmed yet. There is a San Francisco edition because the game takes place in San Francisco. This does not have a price tag on it. They say that it's the deluxe edition plus a collector's box, and I guess in the collector's box is a figurine of the game's protagonist, Marcus, a San Francisco themed laptop sticker, and a San Francisco map. So, what? Like, why would you ever buy that? And then there's 2 more. The Wrench Junior Robot Collector's Pack. Again, it does not have a price tag. It's a Uplay store exclusive. So Uplay is that Ubisoft thing where like you have to connect to Uplay to play any of their games, even if they're single player. So like Assassin's Creed, I'm sure they hounded you in the Division for all this crap. And that's just like the standard game or the deluxe edition or the gold edition plus almost an 8-inch replica of the in-game robot. And then there's another, I'm tired of this. There's another box on top of that. So there's 6 different versions of one game, which is incredibly stupid. For the most part, when I look back, I enjoyed Watch Dogs 1, and I will buy Watch Dogs 2 just based on the gameplay that I saw, which I have linked, I think, maybe not. All my notes here, a lot of them have links to other websites and links to other videos. So when I post this on the underpaidgamers.com, our website, we always post our notes. So you just go through those notes and you can go to all these links and find all these things. But Watch Dogs 2 is confirmed to release in November 15th. So it's obviously a November game, which is when most of the AAA titles come out. This has kind of been under wraps for a long time. I assume you'll see more things at E3. But in the meantime, I saw some gameplay, and at first I'm like, I don't know if Watch Dogs is going to be good. But I watched some gameplay, and it looks like a lot of fun. It looks like they improved on some things. I liked Watch Dogs 1 for a couple reasons. I liked the city of Chicago. I liked the idea that you could hack things with your phone. That everything was connected, you could hack them. There are some set pieces that I really enjoyed. Some complaints I had about the game was just that the graphics didn't look like they said they would look like. The story was awful. I don't remember anything about the story. I guess there are some gameplay things, but it's all forgettable. So I remember the good stuff and I forget about the bad stuff. But as they have shown with their sequels before, Assassin's Creed to Assassin's Creed 2 was incredible. A lot of people think Assassin's Creed 2 is the best Assassin's Creed game to date. Some people say it's Black Flag, but it could be argued that Black Flag is not a Assassin's Creed game and more of just a pirate game. And Far Cry 2 to Far Cry 3 were also an incredible leap of just from one sequel to the next. So I'm hoping that Watch Dogs 2 is going to be incredible. I'll buy it. I'll talk about it. We'll see what happens here come November. We still have a few months, so... Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1 will be releasing within 2 weeks of each other. And I believe I just saw the release date for Titanfall 2 to be October something. So Battlefield 1 will obviously be releasing in November. It's very interesting that they have those games so close to each other. Almost like they don't expect Titanfall to sell. Because it's within 2 weeks, so you could have time. That's just one paycheck for most people. To save up another $60 for Battlefield if you also bought Titanfall. As far as I remember, Titanfall 1 fell off the rails so quickly. And Battlefield 1 again had the most likes of any video game in history, but I think that's just the hive mind of the internet just liking things because other people have liked them. I don't think I'll be interested to see how Battlefield 1 sells because it is World War I, as people have talked about. It's kind of a boring war. So we'll see what happens. I think if they go along this track in a next year or two, we'll see Battlefield 2, which would be World War II or something like that, which I think is where a lot of people want to go to from here. So we'll just see what happens. It's interesting that they're releasing 2 games that should be huge, so close to each other. Maybe they should have waited for Titanfall 2 to come out in like 2017, because I don't know a lot of people. There wasn't a lot of hype of people just like waiting for Titanfall 2. I think it's something that they could have forgotten about, but we'll see what happens. Jake Gyllenhaal is to be the star in a Division movie. Now, I have not played The Division, and I do not know the story so much behind The Division, so we'll see what happens, but it's very interesting that they have decided to make a Division movie. From what I know, not a lot of people are playing The Division just because of, I guess, cheaters. As I mentioned before, they're hitting cheaters hard. They are getting rid of them. So we'll see if it kind of perks up. We'll see what happens. A Division movie, probably not the best. Video games movie are notorious for not doing very well. And Jake Gyllenhaal has already been in a video game movie. He was in Prince of Persia, which could be, I haven't seen it, but it's a decent movie from what I hear, so we'll see what happens. Take-Two CEO says there is no market for VR right now. You know Take-Two from games such as Grand Theft Auto, Civilization, Borderlands, BioShock, and the NBA 2K games. So I have a quote here. He says that it's just way too expensive right now, the CEO says. There is no market for a $2,000 entertainment device that requires you to dedicate a room to the activity. I don't know what people could be thinking. And he has a good point. Like, I have a desk in my room, and I have my laptop on it, I have my monitor on it, I have my PS4 on it, I have speakers, and I have my headset. That's all I need to play video games. If you're going to play VR, for the most part, you have to be standing up, you have to be moving. It's very similar to the Wii, where you like would put it in the living room and it would be a multiplayer game. But VR is very clearly not a multiplayer game. You only have the screen to yourself. So instead of sitting next to somebody while you're Wii bowling, you are just sitting with a mask on your face, and they can't. I think you can project it to TVs, but at the same time, they can't necessarily interact with you the same way that they can with the Wii. And while the Wii is almost dedicated to a whole room, VR, I would have to get my desk out of here, and I would have to baby-proof my room just so I wouldn't fall over and knock myself out. But so essentially that means they're not gonna make any VR for games like GTA, Civilizations, Borderlands, BioShock, Red Dead Redemption, NBA 2K, things like that. So he's just obviously he's a big part of this, industry. GTA is one of the biggest games of all time, probably second just to Minecraft. It's too expensive, $2,000 entertainment system. In order for me to get the PSVR, which they have not, well, I don't know how much it costs, but I had to have the PS4, which is $400. I had to have the PSVR, which I can assume is $400. And I have to have the game, so that's already just under $1,000. So maybe his $2,000 estimate is high, but at the same time, you have to have a whole room dedicated to this. You can't, for the most part, you can't just sit down, because what's the point of having VR if you're just sitting down and not doing anything? You're supposed to be looking up and looking around and looking behind you and moving through the world. So we'll see what they say at VR. We'll see what they have to do there, but I don't expect to see anything. We'll see what they have to say at E3. I do not expect to see anything VR related from them, so we'll see what happens. But for PS4 console exclusive Horizon Zero Dawn, which is the robot dinosaur game where you play as the redhead girl that looks like the wildling from Game of Thrones, fighting the robotic dinosaurs. That game has been delayed until February 28th, which was supposed to come out in November. You get the consolation prize of a new trailer. So they show you this new trailer, they show you some new gameplay, and at the end they say, hey, look, we need some more time, we're going to be delayed until February 28th. And then they have the audacity to ask you for pre-orders, which I think is ridiculous. If you can't stick to a schedule, then why would I pre-order from you? I don't know when that game's going to come out. Now, I think you should take as much time as you need to release the game and polish things. Uncharted took a lot of time. They pushed it back 3 different times. I did not have it pre-ordered, and that game came out really well. Horizon Zero Dawn is a AAA title for the PS4. It's something that we kind of need in this. PS4 doesn't need to sell any more consoles because they're already doing that, but it's something that we kind of need just to have a first-party game again. I mean, we just got Uncharted, but that's the end of a series, so we kind of need another trilogy, another series that we can sink our teeth into, and I think Horizon Zero Dawn could be that series. It looks like a lot of fun. They pushed it back to February 28th, which might just be, maybe they don't even need more time to work on it. Maybe they just wanted to be able to take the market in February as opposed to trying to fight for market space in November. So we'll see what happens. On to movie news, and then I got some other stuff. I'm kind of all over the place today. Disney's Zootopia earns $1 billion worldwide. That is billion with a B. It is the fourth animated movie to do so. 75% of them are Disney. So Frozen, Toy Story 3, and then the third one is Minions. I hate the Minions. But that's 4 animated movies of all in the history of the world, all made $1 billion worldwide. It's the 26th movie ever to gross $1 billion, and of those 26, Disney owns 11 of them. So Disney, unsurprisingly, is doing incredibly well. This is the second movie this year to gross over $1 billion. The first one would be Captain America Civil War, also owned by Disney. So just 2 movies together, Disney already has $2 billion. It's incredible. But Zootopia, I saw it. It was fun. It was a good movie. I would suggest seeing it. I don't know if it's so weird that it's earned $1 billion because I don't think it's a classic. I don't think it's classic worthy. I think Frozen could probably be a classic because it was one of the big animated movie that we haven't seen in a long time. And Toy Story 3 is the end of an era. Minions, for whatever reason, grossed $1 billion. I don't know how that happened. But I don't think Zootopia is a classic, but I did enjoy my viewing experience. E3 is starting soon, June 14th, officially. E3 has their press conference beforehand, which is June 12th. I think that's going on right now. There is a rumor that there's going to be a Skyrim Remastered released at E3, which is very exciting. And in this Skyrim edition, it's either Skyrim Definitive Edition or Skyrim Remastered. They are going to have all the DLC included, obviously updated graphics. There is a rumor on top of the rumor that they might have, or that they should have, mod support. So all the people that have been modding Skyrim for so long to make it look better and add all these quests would be very interesting. Now I have a PS4 and I would get it on PS4. It would obviously take a while for the PS4 mods to come in like they have been making for PC, but it would still be nice to have those free mods or maybe even paid mods. As long as they're like good looking, good working, and good storyline mods, I think it'd be very interesting. I will 100% buy Skyrim Remastered, even if they don't have mods, probably. I had never bought the DLC, so those would be something new I can do. I don't know, just really exciting. That's probably the most something I'm most excited for from E3 is Skyrim Remastered. On the almost opposite end of the spectrum, Kingdom Hearts 2.8 was a new trailer released. The official title of Kingdom Hearts 2.8 is the final chapter prologue, which is just so annoying. Kingdom Hearts has the worst names of anything. Like Dream Drop Distance, what does that mean? There's that like 358 divided by 2. Like, what does that mean? Like, why don't you just, I don't know. As soon as Kingdom Hearts started putting canon material in handhelds and games that you didn't own but you had to play to understand, like, I just lost it. Like, I played Kingdom Hearts 1 and I enjoyed it, and I played Kingdom Hearts 2 and I enjoyed it, and I own Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and I own Kingdom Hearts 2.5, but I'm not going to play 6 games, now 7 games, so I can play 3, because Kingdom Hearts 3 is supposed to be the final chapter, and in Kingdom Hearts 2.8 they have 2 games, I think, from the handheld, so it's like Dream Drop Distance and something else. I don't have it, so I don't care. I have a link here, but I'm not going to go to it because I don't care. If you want to check it out, you can check it out on our blog. Square Enix has announced Final Fantasy XII Remake for the PS4, adds new music and some other things, which is interesting. Final Fantasy XII is really the only Final Fantasy that I sunk my teeth into. The very first game of Final Fantasy that I played was Final Fantasy X-2, which I am told is not a good game to start on. So I played Final Fantasy XII, and obviously the fighting mechanics in that are different from the other Final Fantasy games, where it's not so much turn-based, it's more like cooldown-based. So you can like move around. It's like 360 instead of like lines and lines. It's more of like a 360 battle. So I like Final Fantasy 12. Balthier is like a sky pirate, and I like pirates a lot. So that was very interesting. That's why I picked it up to begin with. I enjoyed it for the most part. There was a weird mechanic in it where if you attacked and killed the same enemy over and over again, you would build up like a combo multiplier, and as the higher your combo multiplier got, the more XP you got from these enemies, and the rarer the drops would be from these enemies, the item drops. So if they brought that back, maybe that would be interesting, but I also found myself playing these games where I would run past enemies that I wasn't comboing and just go for the enemies that I would combo. So instead of challenging myself to attack these harder, stronger enemies, I would be just attacking the same weaker enemies over and over again. Because as video games go, there's always like 1,000 weaker enemies to like 2 strong enemies. So you can attack, you can get like 1,000 combo on these weaker enemies, and then just miss the stronger enemies and still get that combo and still get all these items. So we'll see what happens. My favorite part of The Witcher 3 is Gwent. The card game in Witcher 3 is Gwent. And to my surprise and to my glee, Gwent might be coming to a mobile device near you as the Witcher card game. As noticed by Nerdlinks, I'm reading this from PC Gamer. As noticed by Nerdlinks, the studio recently filed for 2 trademarks with the European. Oh my gosh. Let me start over. As noticed by Nerdlinks, the studio recently filed for 2 trademarks with the European Union Intellectual Property Office. One for Gwent, just that name, and the second one for Gwent, the Witcher card game. So that filing also includes a logo and, according to Google Translation, covers computer games and video games in various formats, online gaming services, and also doodads like jewelry, medallions, keyrings, statues, clothing, writing instruments, stationery, and luggage. So that's interesting. Gwent as a mobile device, or Gwent as a mobile game, I think could be fun. Gwent was one of the things where I would play against the computers and just completely destroy them and try to rake up as much damage as I could on like one turn, on like the 3rd turn. So I had a lot of fun with that. I had stopped playing The Witcher 3 since then just because I got bored with it. But Gwent was by far my favorite part of The Witcher 3. Along with that, their Blood and Wine DLC was released, and I've only heard very good things from it, or about it. To a esport, esport topic, I guess. COD XP has been announced. This is the first one in 5 years, and it will be in September. This is a $2 million prize pool tournament, which is the largest in Call of Duty history. At this COD XP, there will also be the multiplayer reveal for Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered. And while this is in September, I looked at previous multiplayer reveals, and it is very late. Black Ops 3 multiplayer was revealed in June, so this month. Advanced Warfare and Ghosts were both revealed in August. So September is obviously 1 month later than August, and 2 months or 3 months from June. But it's also only 1 month before the game is released. So I don't know if they know what they're doing. Are they just like trying to get so much hype generated for this the month before it comes out? Like, shouldn't they be trying to hype people up all throughout? Or are they trying to not have people focus on the next Call of Duty game and still focus on Black Ops 3? Because the COD XP, like I said, is the biggest prize pool tournament of all time for Call of Duty. And it's the first COD XP in 5 years. So if they announced Infinite Warfare in June or in August, would people just not care about Black Ops 3 and that championship once September hit? I don't really know. So I guess we'll see what happens, but just know that it's a very late reveal for the multiplayer reveal, which is the biggest part of Call of Duty, I think. That's where people log the most hours will be multiplayer. It's what people pay attention to the most. And I know that the new Infinite Warfare is going to have the same or very similar moving mechanics to the last two, Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare. So we'll see, or what was it called? Advanced Warfare. So we'll see what happens. Jon Snow actor Kit Harington is going to be the villain in Infinite Warfare. So much like how what is his name? The guy from House of Cards. Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey, he was the villain in Advanced Warfare. Kit Harington is going to be the villain in Infinite Warfare. Now, I played the campaign of Advanced Warfare to see Kevin Spacey, and one, he looked very good, and two, that campaign was awesome. So, if you have the game, go back and play it. The PS4K or PS4.5 or the PS4 Neo has been confirmed, but it will not be shown at E3. So they have said that yes, the PS4K, the PS4 Neo does exist and will be released, but it won't be shown at E3. So whatever that means, either they decided that, yeah, it was a bad idea, we're not going to show it, or they're going to try to like sneak it out, or maybe it won't release until next year. I don't know. The Destiny Rise of Iron new DLC will not be for the last generation of games, will not be for the PS3, will not be for the Xbox 360. So Rise of Iron, again, is made by the same people that did The Taken King, which people argue is the best DLC Destiny has to offer. It added the most story. So Rise of Iron should be very good for those people that still play Destiny. In this DLC, everyone will have access to the Gallahorn, which was the most overpowered weapon in the game before I quit playing. So that's very interesting. You only get the iron skin for the Gallahorn if you pre-order the game. So if you pre-order the DLC. So if you pre-order the DLC, you get a skin for your Gallahorn, but everyone is guaranteed a Gallahorn no matter what. So interesting. That's my news for today. That's our newscast. Normally we go into a topic now. Normally if Justin would be here, I would ask him his thoughts on Spider-Man 4 and Infamous and all these things. But I'm riding solo today. So thanks for listening. If you want to see more of us again, you can go to our YouTube channel, Underpaid Gamers. If you want to read our blogs, go to underpaidgamers.com. And all of our information is linked there, so you can find our YouTube, you can find iTunes, SoundCloud. Our Twitter is at Gamers Podcast. So if you'd like to tweet at us, tell us what you think of this news, ask us questions, do whatever. We would love that. We love to get topics from people that email us in or question or tweet at us. So far we've done two. We've done one from Jason and one from Richie. Both, I think, were episodes that went really well. So thanks for listening. Next week will probably be a new newscast with all the E3 news that I find to be entertaining. So we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, and we will see you later. Peace out.